and that was obviously a Leicester side without Andy Thompson and Shane Walker because they're in the Commonwealth Games. So London at the moment are a team with a real head of steam, but really it's everybody chasing that second place at the moment and from the top 8, and from 2 to 8 it's going to be very difficult to know who's going to finish in what position.
Yeah, I mean, Worcester's position's not entirely secure at the moment, is it? They've still work to do with Cheshire and Bristol Flyers breathing on the tail. You know, the other thing, of course, is over the last 2 or 3 seasons, Worcester have been a bit of a problem team for the Eagles. So, you know, hopefully, and especially the very much welcome Fab back to the bench tonight, because he's obviously missed the last 3 or 4 games. So that'll be a boost to the Eagles. And he's in such a state he can't even walk over and say hi to Paul James. So yeah. Paul James had to do all the walking for him.
Yeah, and Ian McLeod, who took charge of the game at Leicester and at London, he looks like he's going to be the man standing, and both Dave Forrest and Fab Flanoy sitting on the bench there and talking. But it's nice to see the 3 Eagles coaches back together, whatever the state of the play. And obviously we saw Fab come in, and he's very much on crutches and still has his, I think it's his left foot in a boot sort of thing. So we're ready to go. The starting 5s, just to go through, is Eagles is number 1 Saw Nimley, 7 Yuri Gunhina, 15 Zarko Djukic, 55 Jason Page, and 23 Kai Williams. And for Worcester we have number 3 Michael Ojo, number 15 Trayvon Palmer, number 17 Dallin Bashinsky, number 24 George Bowman, and number 28 Alex Navas. And looks like referee Paul Walton ready to go, and slight different. We've got one referee at the table. I think it's a shot clock. The shot clock's on 30.
Oh my goodness, we are taking ourselves back in time.
Yeah, so if you're wondering where Dave and I are commentating from, we're actually commentating from where we normally commentate, which is normally right above the halfway line. But tonight we're in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah, well, not a very good view though.
But we have got the monitor in front of us, so we'll try and work between the two and see how things go.
Well, I'm interested to see what part George Marshall might play tonight, because obviously they parted company with Dusha and Parrish quite recently. Parrish, I thought, had done some good stuff for him. I thought Dusha had given him reasonable leadership, and both of them actually played a part in the cup win recently. So they've made the train, obviously, and coaching staff will have the reasons, and they'll be happy with the exchange. Just interestingly, how is Marshall doing so far?
Well, he's only played the one game he played, but it was a pretty effective one. He played up at Sheffield last week in his first game, and from the bench he scored 16 points and 3 rebounds and 2 assists. So not the worst debut in the world, and he's actually a former South Dakota State star, and he played there with the guy who played shooting guard for the Eagles last year, DeAndre Parks. So he has got a bit of a pedigree. I think he played out in. He has played a couple of seasons. He started this season in Kosovo, I believe, but that didn't quite work out for him. But the season before that, he was in Holland all year, and that's a fairly decent league as well, the Dutch league.
So I guess what we can expect then is that Coach Paul James will be looking some impact for him on the bench.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they'll be looking for. And I think for the Eagles, they've changed the starting 5 around 2 or 3 times now, and Zarko Djukic had been out of the starting 5. He's now back in that starting 5, and Kai Williams had been replaced by his brother, and he's come back in, and Jamal Williams has actually gone back to the bench. That was a slight surprise to me, because I thought Jamal Williams was probably one of the plus points, particularly from a rebound point of view, for the Eagles' 3 away games.
Yeah, but obviously sometimes people talk about the importance of the starters, but they have a 6th man award, and that's for a reason. And often I think that the 6th and 7th man play a huge part in any basketball performance. And the Eagles, tried Jason Page from the bench. Obviously at the moment they're back in his starting 5, so they're looking for some impact somewhere from the bench. They've got one youngster on who probably won't feature that much, but the guy I watched the whole of the London game. I must say I was quite impressed with London, and particularly London against Leicester. But Yuri Ganina put some points on the board. I think he had 18 at at the half-time, or was that in the Leicester game?
No, you're right, Dave. He had, I think it was actually 17 he had in the first half against London, and it looked as if he wasn't going to miss, and then didn't add to that in the second half. London closed him right down, and there was nobody else from the Eagles really stepped up. But we're underway now, and Djukic has won the tip against Belinsky, and it's the Eagles on offence with Saw Nimley. Nimley trying to set up a play. Eagles setting the horn play up. Ball out wide to Gunhina. He gives it back to Nimley. Nimley thought for a brief moment about the three. Page turns the corner, gives it back to Gunhina, and there's the first 3-point shot from Gunhina from the corner, and he's made it, and he was fouled in the act of shooting. So that's going to be a 3-point shot and a possible and one.
Well, I mean, he started in exactly the same way he started against London, red hot, because that was a beautifully taken shot. But I must say I was impressed with the work that Nimley did in setting that up. He came off that horns play, as you rightly called it, but he very, very quickly returned to the point.
And they're calling the foul after the shot, so it's actually not an extra shot, but Eagles do get the possession.
Interesting call.
So Eagles with a chance to go even further in front. Kai Williams backing in, driving to the basket, just fails to get it. And it's
like there's a lid on that rim for Kai. You know, he's done some good stuff in recent games, but he's just not getting his shots to drop.
Here's Navas driving in, good block by Djukic to Page. Nimley out on the run and lays it in for two, and that's 5-0 to the Eagles.
You're not going to catch Nimley if you get him out in the open court in that way.
I think both Nimley and Page in the last couple of games have looked to possibly to be more providers, but the Eagles obviously having to try to work out a way of playing without Defoe and Lasker and Flanoy. He has Navas, that was a lovely turn against Kai Williams, and he makes it reverse layup nicely to get the Wolves on the board. And Page trying to throw the long pass, it's picked off by Palmer. He gives it back to Beeman, who comes outside to Paczynski. Paczynski driving in, Navas back out to Palmer. Nice ball movement there from Worcester, and a nice 2-point bucket from Palmer.
Well, certainly Kai needs to just check on his defensive basics there, because he let his feet leave the ground and then he was unable to recover onto the shot. But he also had Navas, who's quite a clever player with the ball, easily go past him on the baseline. So looking for Kai to step his defense up early in this game.
There's Page driving to the basket. Nice two-step drive and a nice left-handed layup puts the Eagles up 7-4.
Well, whoever's guarding Jay Sean Page in this Worcester team has got to realise that he's very, very, very good at that quick first step and getting past people on his direct route to basket. So they've got to be prepared to send in the help.
Sorry, Dave, there's Navas again turning on Kai Williams, and this time Kai Williams fouls him with a little push in the back as he makes the bucket.
Yeah, Kai seems unhappy with something there, but I'm not sure what it is, because that's the second time Navas has turned his back to him and spun on him and gone past him.
I think he was saying there was no help defense, Dave. I think that's what he was saying. But at the same time, I think Kai himself might have to acknowledge he needs to make it that little bit harder for Navas, who knocks down the free throw, and it's 7-5 to the Eagles. Nimley bringing the ball forward. So again, the Eagles looking to set up a play into Williams. Williams to Page. Page turns the corner again. Little hand in there. Gunhina again going for the three. That one hits the outside of the rim, but Gunhina saves it. But he doesn't get the ball to an Eagles player, and it's Worcester come away, but Jason Page almost gets a steal, but actually comes up with a foul instead.
Yeah, a little bit of lack of care on both sides in terms of taking care of the ball. That's two sloppy pass from the Eagles, and also not so long ago a sloppy pass from that's the second sloppy pass from the Eagles.
Yeah, and both of them from Jason Page. Just needs to pick that game up. So here's Michael Ojo for Worcester. Again, another sloppy pass there into Paczynski. Zarko Djukic picked it off. He's going to drive all the way to the basket. Misses the layup. Nice drive, but missed the layup. Worcester come away with the rebound. And it's George Beeman, and he's going to go for three. That's in and out. Jason Page takes the rebound. Back come the Eagles.
Well, Paczynski's going to take that middle post position. The Eagles certainly helped out well to protect the middle against his move, because they just forced the ball into him. It was a very, very slack pass.
There's Djukic again trying to drive hard to the basket. Out to Nimley. Nimley up. Shot goes up. It just hits the side of the rim and comes down. Paczynski takes an easy rebound. Ojo, nice pass inside to Baczynski. He finds Navas cutting, nobody there to cut Navas off, and Navas off to a very quick start, but Eagles have come straight back at the other end. Saw Nimley throws a pass to Djukic, who went up for an easy layup, was fouled, and it's been given as an unsportsmanlike foul as well on Baczynski. Is it on Baczynski? No, it's Navas. Navas.
Navas, and that was a completely unnecessary call from Navas. He was well beaten. He was going to achieve absolutely nothing there by pulling Jukic from behind. But I'm not so worried. I mean, obviously, Jukic is giving away 4 or 5 inches or again Baczynski. I'm not so much worried of that from the Eagles' point of view, because Jukic has got some good quickness and he is an intimidating shot blocker around the rim.
He goes to the line to shoot 2. Only a 47% free throw shooter. There you go, that's probably the reason why. Interesting, we're looking at this, the way the court's set up. This is actually the court that the Eagles train on a regular basis, so they should be fairly used to this type of court.
So this is playing more at home than they normally play.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. They don't usually have a crowd in, obviously, when they're practicing, but Djukic knocked the second one down to take the Eagles within a point, and obviously with it being an unsportsmanlike foul, the Eagles get possession. There's Kai Williams backing in, out to Gunhina, who thought about the 3, then decided not to. Cuts into the middle, gives it outside to Kai Williams. Kai Williams' shot, as Dave says, not quite there. Nice play from Kai, but the shot not dropping. Palmer for Worcester to Navas. Beeman turning the corner against Page. He gives it to Baczynski. Palmer for 3. That's off. Navas up well for the offensive rebound. With a great steal there from Djukic. He comes away with the ball into Nimley in the corner. He cuts across, gives it back to Djukic, but Djukic misses the layup again, and Worcester come away with it. Beeman, Navas on the outside, could have gone for 3, but decides to drive inside instead and knocks it down again, and that's Navas up to 9 points already. Worcester lead 11-8.
Oh, there was all sorts of contact going on there, but the referees kept the game flowing, allowed it to flow. I thought that was pretty good officiating.
Yeah, Tuesday night, they want to get home quickly, Dave. There's Kai Williams for 2, and that one does drop from Djukic's pass, and the Eagles back to within 1 again.
Kai will feel so good about that, because he's been getting himself in good positions recent games, and he is confident normally with his shot, and he'll feel really good that one went down. And
there's Navas missing out on the pass. Page picked it off and found Djukic in the open court, and when Djukic is in the open court and not challenged, you know he's going to slam it home, and he does exactly that to put the Eagles back in front by a point at 12-11. Time seems to be flying quickly here, Dave. Very quick pace in this game. He has Palmer going to the basket outside to Navas. Navas puts up a 3, misses it. Kai Williams comes up with a rebound. Nice behind the back from Kai. Gives it to Jay-Sean Page, who drives in, but his layup is off. And Palmer gets the rebound, and he's off to the races at the other end. Takes a step inside the key, comes back out, finds Michael Ojo, who's been more or less running the point for the Worcester, inside to Navas, out to Palmer for 3. Misses that one, but Beeman takes an uncontested offensive rebound and a very simple putback as well. Yeah, that was pretty poor weak side defending from the Eagles. He was almost absolutely had no opposition in terms of grabbing hold of that offensive rebound and putback. As Nimley finds Djukic. Djukic thought about going inside to Gunhina, decided against it. Page to Gunhina outside. He finds Djukic inside. Djukic tried to find Palmer, but it was another very, very risky pass. But that's a fantastic block at the other end. Ojo looked away and comfortable for 2 points, but Page, who's often criticised for his defence, got back really well to block that shot. Absolutely right, Jeff. Awesome defence. He's sometimes been a little bit guilty of not exactly putting himself in the best position defensively, or sometimes giving up on a cause, but he certainly didn't give up on that one. The Wolves with the inbound and recycle. Baczynski faced by Williams. It's Jamal Williams who's come on for Zarko Djukic. There's Navas again, and Navas having a field day at the moment. He's up to 11 points, and Mustafa only scored 15. I always say, every time I see Navas play, I always think he's a really good player without the ball. Yes, Page for 3, crafty. A long way out, but in it goes. And that's levels at 15.
Well, we may have changed court, we may have played something else, but one thing for certain, when the Eagles play Worcester, you get excitement.
It's a great pass from Navas and a great cut from Palmer. That's a foul on Kai Williams, who makes his way straight across to the bench. That must be Kai's second foul. Possibly was coming off anyway. AJ Bassey comes on. AJ Bassey, a man who's definitely stepped up for the Eagles. Again, we know they lost the 3 games, but AJ Bassey has played a lot of minutes in those 3 games and probably showed a lot of people he can play at this level. Perhaps not as a starter, but it certainly is worth he's 10 to 15 minutes off the bench.
Interesting that the sub in is George Marshall, a guard for Baczynski, the big guy going out. I think 2 reasons. One is, not sure Baczynski has been particularly effective in this game, and secondly, it'll be interesting to see if Ojo plays in his more accustomed position, more as a shooting guard, and let Marshall handle the ball. So that's to watch out for.
Yep, and Trayvon Palmer knocked down both free throws. Bassey gives it to Page at the other end. Page shakes and bakes, steps back, misses that shot, but there's a foul called inside. I think that's a foul on the Eagles, a push.
I didn't see who he called that on, Jeff. There didn't seem to be a lot of contact on that particular play.
Just trying, I think it was on Jamal Williams. Jason Page almost picking off his steals. Been a lot of potential steals in this game, and just having a quick look, Worcester have got 3 steals already, and the Eagles 4, and that was nearly a 5th. So turnovers at both ends. Passes being a bit sloppy. That foul was on Jamal Williams. And some long passing going on here, Dave. And there's Navas driving in. He kicks it back out to Palmer, faced by Gunhina. To Navas. Navas goes for 3. Hits the front of the rim, and Gunhina comes up with a rebound. Talking about others, there seems to be a lot of contact there, but the referees let it go. Page almost lost it. Gunhina to Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams turning the corner, trying to back Palmer down. Gets free, but he's airballs his shot from virtually the free throw line. It seems to be very hectic, very helter-skelter.
It is at the moment. I think somebody needs to put, in football terms, put the foot on the ball, slow it down, get a little bit of control, a little bit more structure needed in the game. Certainly no lack of effort, and then particularly impressed with Jason Page's effort on defence.
Yes, Michael Ojo has moved to that shooting guard position. Up and in for a 2-pointer. Nope. Hits the front of the rim, comes out. Eagles on a 3-2 break. Bassey finds Page. Page lays it in right-handed. Good fast break there from the Eagles. Levels the scores. It's 17 all. There's Ojo and Marshall now. Ojo this time holding the ball, and Marshall goes to the corner, but he gives it to Palmer. Palmer's going to drive at the basket. He tries to come back across. Marshall does well to save that one, and Ojo puts the 3-point shot up, misses it. AJ Bassey at the other end doesn't quite gather the pass cleanly, but Jamal does find Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams' jumper from the sideline, nice and clean, and puts the Eagles up 19-17 with a minute to go. Here's Ojo again. He's missed that one as well. He's actually a 48% three-point throw shooter, but is 0 from 2 tonight so far. He has AJ Bassey from the opposite corner, and he knocks one down for the Eagles. And that's a 3-point shot there, and that gives the Eagles the biggest lead of the night at 22-17.
Makes me think these guys have been watching Villanova play in the NCAA Final Four, which was an absolutely brilliant executing a 3-point
fantastic steal there by Son Nimley on George Marshall, and he goes the full length of the court and lays it in for 2, and the Eagles suddenly lead by 7 at 24-17.
I certainly remember Michael Ojo from previous seasons. I think one he had with Plymouth, not at all shy at putting the 3-point up, but you talk about wanting players who catch and shoot, and AJ Bassey's been doing that in the last 2 or 3 games. He's open, he's ready to catch and shoot.
Yes, George Marshall to Navas. Navas fakes the 3, then drives in. His shot's wild though, and it doesn't even hit the rim. Yuri Gunhina comes away with the rebound, but doesn't have time to get his shot off. And that's the end of it. A breathless first quarter, I would say, Dave. And Eagles lead 24-17. That little 7-0 run there at the end of the half, giving them that lead.
Well, it only seems like a few seconds ago you were talking about getting a little bit scrappy, a little bit out of control, and we were talking about a little bit more structure needed. And as soon as the Eagles did that, they've suddenly opened up. Is it a 7-point lead?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when we were talking about that, the score was 17-all. And certainly they've got the better of the game since that point in time. I think Navas is having a decent game, but I often feel that he's a little bit uncomfortable shooting threes because he doesn't really get a hold of his body into the shot. And often his three-point shots fall a little bit short. But certainly Michael Ojo doesn't need any invitation at all. If he's open, he's going to put the shot up.
And it's interesting as well there, Dave, you just mentioned it before, but when they took Baczynski out and he hadn't scored a point or even taken a shot, for the big man, is 7 foot, playing 7 minutes to get that ball inside. That's probably one of the reasons why he took that seat to the bench. But at the moment, Worcester have only got three guys who have scored, and that's Navas with 11, Palmer with 4, and Beeman with 2. Both Parrish and Ojo are yet to open their account, and obviously Marshall just came on there towards the latter stages. Whereas everybody on the Eagles bench who's actually stepped up, and that's all 7 of them. Nimley with 4, Gungina with 3, Jukic with 3, Page leads the Eagles with 7, Kai Williams has 2, AJ Bassi 3, and Jamal Williams 2.
Well, the decisive point was when you talked about it getting a little bit scrappy, and certainly the Eagles really got together, blended much better and played much more efficiently in the offensive end of the floor. Both teams have been working hard on defense, don't have any issues there. Sometimes the Eagles' weak side is a little bit slow in getting to where it should be in terms of players cutting back door to the basket or blocking out for defensive rebounds, but certainly the Eagles had a good, strong finish to that first quarter.
Jason Page takes a seat for the first time. Kai Williams comes back on. Worcester with the 5 who finished. Sorry, no, Baczynski's come back on. He's come back on for Palmer, I believe, or is it? No, Navas actually took a seat on the bench, and there's George Marshall shooting 3, knocking it down, keeps him at 100% for the season, or in other words, 2 from 2.
Yep, and Baczynski will get the assist from that. He was taking his time about it. He thought he was going to find a way to bang Jamal down, but in the end, it was a pretty smart pass because he knew he wasn't going to get an open look off.
There's Jamal Williams having to shoot over Baczynski, and that's off the mark. He has Marshall coming down quickly at the other end, through the legs, behind the back, and then he finds George Beeman. Beeman going to the basket is fouled there by AJ Bassi. Quite a clear foul there, and actually AJ Bassi's come off the worst because a side bump really, and Beeman's shot didn't go in, so we'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, AJ was just a little bit slow getting across there, and I think he got mixed up with his own feet, and in the end he just lost control and went straight into the offensive player.
Beeman at the line to shoot 2. Knocks down the first. Makes the second. Took its time thinking about it, but it dropped down, and that's 2 points there, and that brings Worcester back to within 3. So that's a 3-pointer and a two from the line, and now a steal at the other end. So Worcester made a very strong start to this second period. And if the score here, they could be back within a point or even level, depending. And it's an inside to Baczynski, outside. He has Marshall for 3. Oh, that one's come off the backboard, and the Eagles clean up on the boards. Jukic going, but a great steal from Marshall.
Zarko's not looking after the ball, is he, when he's in transition? That's the second time or third time he's had the ball taken away from him when the Eagles have had a good chance to create a transition basket.
This Marshall's very busy, isn't he, David? Behind the back, in front and through the legs, and shaking and baking, and he's knocked down another 2 points.
Well, obviously it's very difficult to form a player who comes in at this time of the season and is only in his second game, but he looks like he's got a pretty good shot.
Jukic almost lost the handle again there, but managed to retain it and give it to AJ Bassi, who finds Jamal Williams, who finds his brother inside, Kai Williams, but he can't make the shot, Kai Williams, and Worcester again come away with the rebound. Nice Euro step from Trayvon Palmer, great drive to the basket as he lays that in, and that puts a 9-0 run together there for the start of the second period from Worcester, and Eagles call a timeout.
Well, that timeout's clear. The Eagles coaching staff will not be happy at all with the Eagles. They've finished well end of the first quarter. They haven't started well. They're not taking care of the ball. They're not hustling. They're not playing well off the ball in offense. But defensively, they've really not got going at all. And Baczynski's been more effective because they're using his height well. They're finding him in the middle of the key. He's not looking to force anything. He's looking to find shooters out on the wing. But also, he's making it difficult for the two Williams boys to get clean looks at the basket.
Yeah, he's a big body, 7 foot there. It's a long way to shoot a ball, especially if you're not a high percentage shooter. And Jamal Williams can be very hit and missy. Kai Williams is normally quite fluent for the Eagles, but he's in the last few weeks does seem to have struggled a wee bit. So the Eagles taking a long time over this time out, and looking down there, it's not just McLeod who's talking. Flanoy was also very, very animated in that time out, and they've sent the Eagles back out, and Jason Page comes back on court. The Williams brothers, Jukic and Nimley, is the 5 that the Eagles send out, and Worcester obviously are only running 6 really at the moment, and Navas continues to sit. And it's interesting that Navas scored 11 of that 15 in that first quarter. He hasn't even been out in the second quarter and have scored 9 points without him.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot of things about that timeout. One is how long it took the Eagles to come out, but you notice how quickly Worcester are out, because obviously they're very pleased with the way they started the second half, and they couldn't wait to get going again.
There's Jukic finding Nimley. A lot of bumping and boring inside Nimley. Kai Williams turns the corner, and from 2-point line, a long 2 knocks a 2 down.
Now, I like that offense a lot, because Worcester have been doing a little bit of switching, and what the Eagles did there, they bunched the defense together, and Kai made a really good strong move off 2 of his teammates and didn't hesitate, all catch and shoot.
There's Marshall, and Marshall looking to take advantage of his height advantage over Nimley. Shot the 3, but it came back off the front of the rim. Nimley at the other end finds Jukic. Jukic, nice sidestep, makes the basket. Left-handed layup, and the Eagles back in front by 2 at 28-26.
Well, deceptive comes to mind here, because San Nimley might be a lot smaller than Marshall, but he can really play close. He's tight, and he gives the people a false impression about how much time they've got to get the shot off.
There's Baczynski turning round, but San Nimley on the ground battling for that ball, and I think that'll be an Eagles ball according to the arrow. It is. It's a good battling by Nimley on the ground there. Enables them to pick up that arrow possession, which will now obviously revert to Worcester. But Nimley brings the ball forward, just slowing things down slightly to Kai Williams into Jukic. Jukic high hands. Jamal Williams was wide open. Good shot to take. Didn't go down, but it
was certainly wide open. It was well executed as well, just didn't make it.
Beeman to Marshall. Page was watching that all day long. He'll go to the basket, lays it in. Another steal from Jason Page in a lane as well.
Well, certainly we talked about the Eagles' lack of defense at the start of this quarter, but Page is having a good night defensively.
Eagles back in front by 4, 30-26 as Beeman at the other end. He finds Marshall. Marshall directing the traffic, wants Ojo to go across. Ojo does go across, now has to come back the other way. And he gives it to Palmer. Palmer's going to drive inside, takes a step outside. Can't make the 2-point shot. Jamal Williams comes away with it. He finds his brother, but it's just in front of him. Jamal Williams finds Zarko Jukic, and there's a very pretty behind the back to the basket layup.
Wow. That was a really good play all round. You know, Williams to Williams, back to Williams, and then a really good pass in. But what a great sense of awareness as to where he was on the floor with Zarko, because he had his back to the basket, but he took that really well.
Yes, Baczynski battling in against Jamal Williams, and Jamal Williams, he's a big body to shift, and the only way Baczynski found he could shift him was to foul him, and Jamal always stands his ground. Very, very strong man under the basket. He might be conceding something in inches height-wise, but not necessarily width-wise.
No, Paul James is questioning that decision, but I don't think there was any doubt about it at all. Baczynski knew Williams was bellying up to him, pushing him really hard. He had a spin on him lightly. He tried to knock him over as he spun on him. That wasn't a clever move at all from Baczynski.
Yes, Nimley to Kai Williams. Nimley the only man really in motion here. The Page now gets into motion, and he'll drive all the way to the basket. Reverse hand, right-handed layup. Beautiful layup from Jason Page, and the Eagles back up again by 8 points, 34-26. So they've answered that 9-0 run with 8 of their own. There's this Baczynski getting up there doing what a 7-footer should do, offensive rebound and tipping.
I'm interested in this little move here. You identified it early on. The setup in the horns Nimley goes in, he only goes into puts a foot in the key, and he's coming back out again. But what that does is create movement opportunities off the ball for the Eagles. On that occasion, it was Zukic. Before that, it was Page.
And that time, Zukic again getting to the basket and was fouled in the act of shooting, and the ball went in. So Zukic will go to the line to shoot an extra one as Navas comes back into the game and replaces George Beeman.
Well, what a game to work out here, Jeff. I mean, fantastic for the fans, but, you know, Eagles up 7 or whatever it was. Suddenly, Worcester back in tying the game, and the Eagles are now up 8. And it seems as though nothing happened. but they've not just snuck away, they've sprinted away from the Wolves.
There's Marshall at the other end driving hard. Palmer takes it, wants to find Baczynski, but Eagles were looking for Baczynski, and the Williams brothers double teamed him there. And Jamal forced the slight fumble, and Kai Williams made the shot off. And there's Baczynski at the other end, not getting his feet in the right place as he tries to get back on defense, and he fouls Jay-Sean Page.
Well, obviously, Fab would be very concerned about 3 losses on the road, but tonight there's one thing you do know for certain, that when they feel like it, they get in the right mode, Eagles have a lot of hustle in their defence.
Here's number 8, Dominic Ives, coming on court now for Worcester. Young man who only averages about 8 minutes a game, and that's really probably been in the last few weeks. And Jay-Sean Page once again in on the basket, and suddenly the Eagles have got a double-digit lead at 38-28.
Well, Paul James won't be happy about that. That was just too easy a straight to drive for Jay-Sean Page. No attempt at all from the weak side to come in and cut him off on that move.
There's Marshall. He finds Eves in the corner, knocks down 3. Well, that's certainly one way to earn extra minutes. Knocking down the corner 3 on his first shot of the game. Here's Saw Nimley, floater off the glass. Nice floater off the glass from Saw Nimley. Knocks in 2. Puts the Eagles back up by 9 points. We talked about Michael Ojo before, Dave, and at the moment he's 0 from 5. I'm sure they'll not stay 0 from 5, but Eagles doing a pretty good job on a man who can be a very, very dangerous shooter at the moment. And there's a ball to Eves again. He's in the corner again. This time he doesn't make it. Zarko Djukic took the rebound, but the ball was knocked out of his hands. But it was, well, it's interesting. The ball was knocked out of his hands, and it's been given to Wolves. So if the Wolves player didn't touch the ball, he must have touched the hand.
Yeah, I thought early on that Michael Ojo wasn't comfortable running the point and looking for shots as well. He's much more comfortable looking for shots when Marshall's running the point, but at the moment he's not getting really clean looks, and he's not executing his shot very well.
There's Palmer with a long 2, which doesn't go. Navas can't grab it in the rebound. The ball falls in the hands of Jay-Sean Page. Saw Nimley jumping up and down there, asked for the pass there from Jay-Sean Page. He didn't get it. Djukic inside, he'll back down, but ball knocked away by George Marshall, and it's Palmer at the other end, and that's a foul by Yuri Gunhina, who's just come back on the court for Kai Williams. That'll be 2 shots from the line. Should imagine there for Trayvon Palmer.
Well, Trayvon Palmer's showing good moves when he goes to the basket, because he's got one-on-one. He's got a little bit of a Euro step, and he's really sidestepping the defense nicely, and he's either making it or taking himself to the line.
First one wipes its feet and drops through. Takes him up to 7 points personal. He also has 6 rebounds. Doing a lot of hard work for his team. Makes a second. That makes him 4-4 from the line as well, Dave. So just illustrating your point about him either getting a shot off or getting to the line. Here's Nimley for the Eagles to Gunhina. Eagles setting up right at the top of the key. Zip pass from Nimley to Page. Page gives back to Nimley. Nimley's 3-point shots off. George Marshall takes a big defensive rebound, and he comes forward at the other end, faced by Page. Gives it into Navas. Gunhina almost picked that one off as a steal. Back out to Palmer. Palmer now this time going for 3s, just short. Navas not quite in the right place. Yuri Gunhina does well to pick up that rebound. Saw Nimley tries to go through Trayvon Page. Palmer rather than round him. Didn't quite work out for him, but he's got the ball back from Gunhina. Gives it back to Gunhina. Little pass inside to Zarko Djukic. There's the hook shot from Djukic, doesn't make it. And Navas comes up with a rebound. Eagles still lead 40-33. 1.5 minutes left in a frantic first half.
But the Eagles have got more composure when it most matters.
There's Paczynski going in. Paul James arms stretched, imploring the referee to call a foul, and Zarko Djukic for hands in. And at the other end, Saw Nimley, as he goes round the corner, is fouled.
Well, we might have a case of mistaken identity there, Jeff. I'm not sure, but I think that might have been Navas at the other end, because right now, yeah, it was Navas.
Yeah.
And you know what? He missed a fairly easy chance, got his head down, didn't even bother to track back on defense at all.
Eagles called timeout with 1:12 to go, and I think Saw Nimley going to the line to shoot 2.
Well, it's not short of effort, this game, and there's some frantic moments in it, but I think at the moment the Eagles have got that lead, because when it matters the most, they're showing more composure, more poise, more control when they have possession of the ball.
Jay Champagne's up to 13 points. Obviously enjoying playing it back at Sports Central. Zarko Djukic has 9 points. Yuri Gonina 3 points, 5 rebounds. Eagles have 14 assists, 6 turnovers. Worcester have 8 assists and 9 turnovers. So rebounds, Eagles are getting out-rebounded 20-14. But it's the score that matters. All the other statistics can be analysed and looked at, but the only thing that really matters is what's on the actual score chart, and that's 40-33 to the Eagles. And I don't know whether they've got 2 shots. I think they have got 2 shots coming here for Saw Nimley. I wasn't sure, because Worcester aren't actually in the penalty, and I wasn't sure that Nimley had actually turned the corner enough to constitute it being a shooting foul, but obviously the referees with a much better view than us tonight, Dave, I have to say, ruled it as a shooting foul, and Nimley going to the line to shoot 2. Makes the first one. So Nimley's already got 6 assists in this game as well. This is the second one, so it's Eagles leading 41-33, and we're in with 1 minute and 6 seconds left to go. He has Marshall for 3. He's certainly got that range, Dave. Very good shooter indeed, knocks that 3 down.
And he's the one player who really is playing under control on the Worcester side.
There's Nimley and Djukic working the high-low. Djukic fires that ball into the corner. Gonina does well to come inside and knock down a 2-point shot. Turn down to 3. Nice little move inside, knocks us 2 down.
Yeah.
He has Marshall again, and he finds Navas. Navas head up. Puts the head fake in. Referee buys it. Foul on Gonina. Sideline ball, end-line ball. Sideline ball. Eagles leading 43-36 in what's been an extremely entertaining and fast-flowing first half. Mistakes aplenty, but some really good plays aplenty as well. Again, there's another mistake. Navas tried to throw a pass in. Djukic got his hand in the way and knocked the ball off the backboard. Saw Nimley having to look at the scoreboard just to check the time. He's going to slow this right down. Big differential between the game shot and shot clock, but I think Nimley wants to run nearly all 24 seconds off here. Nice crossover, finds Jamal Williams in the corner for 2. Nice play from Saw Nimley, really nice play. Worcester now got 7 seconds
Just
to
about
get a
left
shot
enough
off.
time here for George Marshall to get a shot off.
And it's off balance and it's missed. And the Eagles take the offensive rebound. Nice play from Saw Nimley for his 7th assist of the half. And the Eagles lead 45-36 in what was really, really entertaining basketball game there.
Yeah, very hectic at times, but I think when it mattered the most, the Eagles played the most composed, played the most control, set up a little bit of structure, worked well off the ball in offense. This reminds me of a game when Ramon Fletcher and Dre Parks spent the whole of the first half getting to the Worcester Wolves basket, and Page is doing that quite a bit tonight. Jarko Jukic is doing that quite a bit tonight, and the Worcester Wolves at the moment just don't have enough weak side rotations to help to cut that off. Now, 2 years ago, Paul James put that right at half-time and changed the games around, and he's certainly got to do that in the dressing room at half-time tonight.
And he's also got to do it with a lot less resources than he had that night. So at the half, we have the Eagles leading 45-36, and we'll join you soon for the second half. Okay, welcome back to Sports Central for the second half of tonight's BBL clash between the F Group Eagles Newcastle and the Worcester Wolves, with the Eagles leading 45-36 at half time. And that second quarter, Dave, was an interesting one because Worcester came out and hit 9 points early on. The Eagles called a timeout, and then Worcester only scored 10 more in the rest of the quarter.
Yeah, the way Worcester approached that second quarter was a bit of a surprise, because we talked about the game being at 17-all and how neither team had established any real authority over the other team. Then the Eagles finished that first quarter very strongly, and therefore it was quite a bit of a surprise when Worcester started the second one so well. But the Eagles did recover, and I think when it mattered most in that game, they just brought that little bit of control, particularly in the structure of the half-court offense. And I must say that, you know, they're not shooting. I think Worcester has shot probably twice as many threes as the Eagles have done tonight. We're accustomed to Sean Page and Nimley putting lots of threes up tonight, but that's not been the case tonight, and there's a lot of good movement off the ball in the Eagles' half-court offense, which is causing Worcester some problems. And I think also the Worcester defense is not really getting a grip to the Eagles' transition offense either.
I just wonder if that's part of the cause of that, is the fact that obviously the Eagles are without Darius Defoe and have been without Terry Martins, and he went out with injury. So they've kind of had to adapt the game and probably are playing that a little bit faster, particularly in transition and getting the ball through people's hands.
Well, you know, with Zarko can run the floor, Yuri can run the floor. They've got players who are quite capable of running the floor. They're pretty good at, you know, the first two passes in transition are vital. That outlet from the rebounder and then the second pass, and the Eagles are doing that very, very well in the second half of that second quarter.
And I think for Worcester, we talked about Alex Navas at the end of the first quarter. He had 11 of their 17 points at that stage, and he was actually sat down quite early and sat for a long time, but they played quite well without him. But coming back to that, you look at, they need a bit more from the likes of Michael Ojo and Dallin Baczynski in particular.
Absolutely, Jeff. Those two players have only contributed 2 points between them. Ojo's 0 for 5 field goals. Baczynski's only taken 2. Well, you know, a guy his stature and size, he needs to be operating around the basket a lot more. They need to be getting the ball into him, and he needs to be putting up more than 2 attempts and a half.
So coming back out, the Eagles come back out with the starting 5 that they started the game with. Son Nimley, Sean Page, Kai Williams, Zarko Jukic and Yuri Gunhina. And Worcester come out with George Marshall, Michael Ojo, Alex Navas, George Bierman and Trayvon Palmer. So Baczynski not starting the second half. That
doesn't surprise me at all. I think Marshall only in his second game. I think obviously he's feeling his way of how to play with this team and learning a lot about British basketball. I thought he looked pretty controlled. Looks as though he's got a decent shot on him. And he's certainly, if I was coaching Worcester, I'd want him handling the ball more than Michael Ojo, and I'd like to see, I'm sure Paul James wants to see Michael going back to his normal game, which is move around, get into some space and catch and shoot.
Yep, let's see how the second half unfolds, and it's a false start of the second half. Saw Nimley and Kai Williams pinched the ball there, and it was actually the Worcester ball, and referees managed to sort that one out. A bit late for April Fools, but here we go anyway. Michael Ojo with the ball. Faced up, double team by Gunhina and Page. Ball zipped wide. Yes, Marshall coming inside looking to shoot it 2. Blocked by the Eagles, but Navas getting inside. And that's what he was doing in the first quarter, and he's made his first points in the second half, and that cuts the gap to 45-38.
Yeah, terrific defense from the Eagle, keeping Marshall under pressure. It made it very, very difficult for him to get that shot off. But what a cool rebound and subsequent move from Navas.
Nice pretty move at the other end with Zarko, the spin master. Jukic getting to the basket and actually laying it in with his left hand, which quite unusual for Zarko, but in it went. And Marshall was double teamed, and Zarko, Jukic at the other end facing up to George Beeman, but Beeman got up above him and laid it in for 2 points again. Beeman another one, he's only on 4 but not up to 6 now, and you know, these are the guys who have been scoring points. Ojo, Baczynski, Beeman. Yes, he goes. There's Nimley up for 3 and in for 3. So Nimley gets a 3-pointer there. Eagles up to a 10-point lead at 50-40. Yes, Palmer, Ojo turned the corner, but well guarded by Jason Page, but gets back the other way, pushes off, up for 2 points, doesn't make it. Alex Navas takes the rebound again. He went up, and he's fouled by Kai Williams. He's asking for 2 shots. I think he probably should get 2 shots. Yep, does get 2 shots.
Eagles are not defending well at all, rebounding wise, on the weak side. They need to get more of a body, particularly on Navas, who's quite sneaky getting to the basket. But you know, nearly everybody who guards Nunley's got a few inches on him, and they just lay off him thinking, well, it's going to be difficult for him to shoot over a big player, but he just takes them by surprise.
There's Navas at the line, misses the first. Kai Williams takes a seat after that foul. That was his 3rd foul of the game. The only player really in foul trouble. Alex Navas misses the first. Makes the second. Back to a 9-point game. Navas up to 12 points, 13 points, sorry. Nimley brings the ball away for the Eagles. Nimley with that 3 was the 3rd Eagle to go into double figures. Jukic and Page the other 2. There's 2 more from Page. Takes him to 15, takes the Eagles to 53-41.
You know, that's not an easy shot at all. He's fading away from the defensive player, but what great control with his shooting action on that shot.
And he takes a big rebound at the other end. Just put a little elbow in the back of George Beeman there, then comes up short with his shot. Called for a couple of offensive fouls at the weekend on the road for that sort of play. This Marshall turned the corner nicely. His shot doesn't go. Eagles contest that rebound better, but Beeman in the end gets it up and in.
Certainly you can't accuse Worcester Wolves have been passive on the offensive boards. They're really battling to try and get some offensive rebounds.
Eagles have got 1 offensive rebound. Worcester have got 8. So that shows you what Dave's just saying there.
Yeah.
Jamal Williams at the other end. Turnaround jump shot after backing into Navas is good. Eagles lead 54-43. Worcester coming back very quickly. And there's Michael Ojo's first points of the game. Knocks down a 2 as he came inside Jason Page. Here's Nimley at the other end. He drives in, gets the foul call.
Again, Jeff, a lot of, you know, some people call it a runner, but he's really good at the surprise shot. He just looks as though he's not going to have any interest at all in scoring. Suddenly, before you know it, he's made a quick move, and that shot's going off as he's making the move.
It was one number 1 against the other number 1, and so foul by George Marshall will put Nimley on the line for 2. Knocks the first one down. Certainly looking in the mood tonight, saw Nimley. He's got 8 assists to go along with those 11 points. Make that, 11 points. The second one just rimmed out there. Palmer took the rebound. Here's Marshall burrowing his way to the basket, but there's Zarko Jukic getting up well to block that shot and get the Eagles off and running again. Nimley for 3. That one's just off as well, and George Beeman comes back at the other end. Palmer thought about a 3 and then was blocked by Jukic, and a fantastic steal from Saw Nimley, who in for 2 he goes. Little fella having a real good game tonight.
The steal was good. What was fantastic was the spin move that took him away from the defensive player.
And there's a 3-point reply from George Beeman at the other end, so it hasn't slowed down at all, Dave, has it?
No,
Eagles lead 57-48.
No, and if they're going to make an impact on this 9-point lead, I think it was 7 for the Eagles at the end of the first, 9 at half time. It's still 9. They need Baczynski or Beeman or somebody else, Ojo, to step up and make a few more point contribution to their total.
Strong drive to the basket there by Jason Page, but he was blocked by Alex Navas, and Jason Page, I think, thought he was fouled, but referee's nothing doing. Saw Nimley for 3 as the shot clock was spinning down. That comes off the rim. George Beeman picks it up, brings it down. Cycle to Marshall in the corner. And Gunhina's fouled him in the act of shooting. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Eagles, I think, have called a timeout. Yep, Eagles call a timeout. I think Fab for now was just a little bit uncomfortable with what he was seeing out there. As Worcester threatened to mount a little bit of a comeback. Marshall will go to the line to shoot 2. But the Eagles still lead 57-48, and even if he makes these 2, they'll still have a 7-point lead. 5:39 left in the third quarter.
Well, traditionally these two teams somehow find a way of making games close, and some of them over the last couple of seasons have gone to Worcester. But what I'm surprised there is it was the Eagles who called the timeout, because I thought if anybody needed a timeout at this stage of the game, with still 15 minutes to go, I thought it was probably Worcester more than the Eagles.
So perhaps Coach Flanoy there giving Coach James a little bit of a present, but obviously just looking at Flanoy's body language in the timeout there, he's very animated, hands going, head shaking, you know, very passionate in there. He obviously had a point to make, and he's definitely making it. Whether his players pick up on that, or I think he seems to me as if he's almost done a training impression there, Dave. I think what he's trying to say to them is, we're doing well in the transition, was something which you mentioned.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, but I think also maybe there might be a mental side to this as well. Hang on, we've just lost 3 straight.
Yeah.
So, you know, he doesn't want this to go to 4. He wants very, very much. This is the second time this season where he's faced with 3 losses in a row, and the worst one obviously was the situation when he lost 3 at home. But he'd be wanting to recover in this game. He'd be wanting to get another win back on the board, because it's so tight at the top, isn't it, still, with London now out on a run. Sheffield are not doing so well at the moment. That, as you said before, the impact of losing Tuck to the Commonwealth seems to be bigger than anybody perhaps thought it might be. And let's not forget, Worcester did come back from behind against Sheffield and pull off a big win at Sharks.
And George Marshall knocks both of those 2 points down, and he, I think, is now into double figures and 10 points, so he's settled into this league very quickly. Jamal Williams comes off the screen, can't make the 3-point shot, and Michael Ojo takes the rebound. Chance for Worcester to cut it even more. He gives it to Beeman. Circus shot in the end. I think Beeman felt he was fouled, and Marshall definitely fouled Nimley. There's no doubt about that one.
Yeah.
It's interesting at times to watch players when they miss shots and immediately look at referees. It's been since the dawn of time, Dave, I think.
Well, it was, but I mean that wasn't a really controlled and well executed shot from Worcester Wolves at all.
Jamal Williams.
Eagles got some nice control and some good movement in this offense.
Quick turn to the basket, and Jason Page has gone down, and he's not got up as well. He has Michael Ojo for 3. That one's off, and a big rebound by Yuri Gunina. And the referees have had to stop this game. Jason Page looking in a little bit of trouble. Saw Nimley's backcourt partners there straight away to see him. Eagles physios looking to see whether they're going to have to go on. Referees have took the ball to the side. Page looks in a lot of pain there.
It does, and it's difficult to work out, isn't he, where he's feeling it.
Oh, he's up on his feet.
Oh, that's good news.
Perhaps it was his pride that got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I just gave me a chance to just look at the Worcester stats there, and Michael Ojo's still struggling a little bit, isn't he? He's 1 from 7 from the field, 0 from 3 from 3-point range. 4 from 17 at 23% is not doing the Worcester Wolves a lot of favours in terms of the number of 3-point shots they've put up, which is, 7 more than the Eagles have put up.
Kai Williams has come on for Jason Page. He's had to come off for that game-stopping injury. As Nimley thinks about the 3 again. Drives inside, tries to find Jukic. Ojo came up with good hands there. Drives at the other end, and in it goes for 2 points. Determined play there from Michael Ojo.
Well, Nightbody was shooting well, but he's still got his athleticism.
Yeah, good defensive stand, and then going coast to coast with the ball. Yes, Nimley finds Kai Williams. Jamal Williams asking for the ball inside. Baczynski marking him. So Jukic drops it off to Yuri Gunina. He gets up and puts in a nice 2-point shot. What
a tough shot. For a lefty, he looked as though he was facing the wrong way, but great execution on that shot.
Yes, Ojo turning, spinning, doesn't make it. Baczynski's up for the rebound. I think he was fouled in trying to take that rebound. Yep. Foul. Yuri Gunina comes off, and AJ Bassi comes on.
I think Bassi did enough for me in the last. He's done enough for me in the last few games to deserve his minutes. I think he's catching and shooting quite well, and he's handling the ball well. He works well without the ball. Certainly a much improved player from the guy we saw his first few minutes way back last September.
That was actually Yuri Kunhina who took that foul, and that was his 4th foul, so that's why he's taking the seat in AJ Bassey's come on. Second one from was Baczynski made the first, second one was no good. So Jukic took the rebound and the ball in the hands of AJ Bassey. Jason Page just looking down on the bench, looks as if he's okay. Probably come back in the game very soon. Oh, that's really good play from the Eagles. Lovely bounce pass inside from Nimley to Jamal Williams, but he spotted Jukic breaking from the side, and he laid it in, and Jukic took it gratefully and slammed it home.
You know, we talk about people who are scoring, but sometimes, you know, assists great when you've got people who can make passes like Jamal Williams did then. But you know what? Nimley deserves an assist as well, because that was an excellently executed bounce pass from him to Jamal Williams.
And at the other end, Alex Navas was very quick to reply with another 2-point shot. This time Jukic's jumper is off, and Michael Ojo brings the ball away. Steps past Nimley, gives it into Baczynski. That's more like the play from the big man as he drove inside there.
You know, if he sticks to those simple things, first of all, he changed Jukic's shot at this end, trailed the play beautifully. Just not so long ago, he was getting a good offensive rebound and a putback. That's more of the Baczynski we saw in the first half of the season.
Jukic drives in, he knocks it out to Jamal Williams, whose 3-point shot virtually all the way down and then came back out. Nimley takes a quick three off Jukic's pass, and that's missed. Eagles just a little bit out of control here now, and Worcester coming back well, 61-57. Michael Ojo, but he's either stepped out of bounds or he's been fouled, I think, by AJ Bassey.
And I'm not sure Ojo was in control of himself then, you know, and I'm not sure he'd worked out exactly what he was going to do. That was just an unfortunate foul by AJ.
AJ Bassey's done his job, spelled Jason Page. Jason Page back in the game for the Eagles. Certainly need him back in the game at the moment. Only Worcester have cut that gap to only 4 points at 61-57. Some good defense and some nice layups at the other end. And this time the shot's off, but they almost picked up the rebound. But who did pick up the rebound? The man who's just come back on court, Jason Page.
Well,
he's bounced the ball off his own leg and trying to go up for the layup, and the ball goes out, and it's a Worcester ball at the end line.
I was just about to credit Ojo with his effort, but he did more than that. Not only did he get the effort to get back, but he also was smart enough to force that ball off Jason Page's knee and get possession for Worcester.
Eagles take Zarko Jukic out and put Yuri Gunina back in. Gunina on 4 fouls at the moment, so a little bit of a risk taken there. Yes, Navas backing in. Baczynski drives hard, and that man Williams, Jamal Williams, stands absolutely still, did he? No.
I'm not convinced Williams was still at all. I mean, Williams was smart enough to get his feet outside of the no charge area. That was a good move, but I'm not convinced he was in there. But of course, you know, Baczynski's tall enough to either find somebody with a pass or just shoot a nice gentle shot over Jamal.
I think he's trying to use his strength and his height, and it didn't work for him there, and he's picked up that foul. And
there was no space for him where he was going.
That's actually his 4th foul as well, Dave. So see Dominic Eves coming there to the bench.
Well, especially as they're in the 3rd, they can't risk leaving him out there.
Lovely fake from Son Nimley on George Beeman, who completely fell for it, and Nimley knocks down the 3. Gets the Eagles back up to 7 points, 64-57. That could just settle the Eagles down. Jason Page almost stolen it from Michael Ojo, who seems to want to be doing a lot of it himself, but there's a shot from outside. He's made the 3-point, and he was fouled by Son Nimley, so he'll go to the line and shoot an extra one.
Well, Ojo rescued the situation there because he got out of control, but he rescued it. He got the ball under control, made a nice drive and a lovely, lovely kick out to his teammate.
That teammate was George Beeman, and he knocked down the 3-point shot and will go to the line to shoot the extra one. He's cut the gap to 4 points and chance to cut it to 3 as Son Nimley takes a seat. I think Eagles just...
Well, that's obviously a rest rather than any foul trouble, because I think he's only got 1 foul, hasn't he?
He hasn't got any, Dave, to be perfectly honest. Okay. I was just checking that myself, but George Beeman makes the extra point, and it's a 3-point game at 64-61. Jason Page handling the ball for the Eagles, and the Eagles will really be wanting to score this offense. Just get that 4th quarter in front. Granina comes out to set the screen. Page finds Gunhina. Gunhina long two. That's off the front of the rim. Page can't make the rebound. Navas can. Here's Worcester tearing down the other end. Beeman throws it back to Palmer. He gives it back to Beeman. Beeman thinking about a three-point shot. AJ Bassey gets there to stop him, but now he puts it up, and in it goes again. And George Beeman red hot in this quarter.
He is, isn't he? I'm pretty sure you know that Nimley fouled him. I don't know where this. I know it's showing no fouls on Nimley, but I'm pretty sure he's got one.
Yeah, it's one on the scoreboard. Oh, the Eagles have given this one a ball away again. And there's Palmer driving in hard, misses the layup, but gets his own rebound. Sorry, George Beeman grabbed the rebound and he's put it up. George Beeman, I believe, has scored 16 points in this quarter and has actually put Worcester in front 66-64. And a lot of it, virtually all of it, coming from Beeman, who has in fact scored 16 points in this quarter.
He's got red hot, that's for sure.
There's Page from the corner. From AJ's inbound, he makes a three-point shot. And that'll be it for the end of the quarter. That came another quarter which flashed by, and we're level at 64. Is it? Sorry, 67-66 Eagles. That was a three-point shot from Jason Page, so that puts the Eagles back in front by one. Takes Page up to 18.
Well, Worcester certainly showed a lot of improvement in that first quarter, and it's like almost like they sneaked up on the Eagles, but for sure Beerman was the reason why they got back into that quarter. 16 points in the quarter, or 16 for the game? 16
points in the quarter. He had 4 going into the quarter. 16 points in that quarter, and that's pulled Worcester right back in the game, and it really is anybody's game for this last 10 minutes. Just looking at some of the stats, just waiting for the stats to catch up a little bit here. Jason Page has 18 points for the Eagles, with 5 assists, 4 rebounds. Saw Nimley 16 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds. Zarko Jukic 13 points. And for Worcester, George Beeman 20 points. Alex Navas 16 points. And George Marshall with 10.
Well, of the two coaches, Fab's got the hardest job here, because no question the momentum was going with Worcester. Although Page did sneak the Eagles back into it, the momentum was going to that Worcester. They'll feel that confidence is building in that quarter, and we're a little bit worried about whether doubt's now starting to go into the Eagles following those 3 road losses.
And one of the big stats here is rebounding. Worcester, as you would have expected, bigger side, 35 rebounds. The Eagles only got 23 rebounds, but the reverse of that is that the Eagles got 23 assists and only 9 turnovers. Worcester 16 assists, 12 turnovers. But again, as I said before, I'll quote all the stats in the world, but the only stat that really counts is the 67-66
It is, yeah, it is.
So here we go, ready for the last 10 minutes of what's been a really, really top-class game. When we say top class, I mean in terms of entertainment. Obviously there's been plenty of mistakes made by both sides, but that's what's made it exciting, that's what's made it entertaining. The Eagles come back out with the Williams brothers, Page, Nimley and Gunhina, and Worcester still with Baczynski on the bench. Dominic Eves is in the game with Palmer, Ojo, Beeman and Navas. It's the Eagles that get us underway, and saw Nimley's pass to Gunhina was almost picked up by Ojo. Eagles down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Jamal Williams fakes a 3, then shoots the 3, but it doesn't go. Jason Page tried to get the rebound, but that man Beeman's got it. He gives it to Ojo. Ojo drives in hard, doesn't make the 2, but Worcester once again, no, they didn't come up with a rebound. I thought Dominic Eves had come up with a rebound, but it falls in the hand of Saw Nimley.
Saw Nimley goes into the lands of the Giants, and somehow he gets up higher than anybody and pulls down that ball for the Eagles.
Jamal Williams tried to turn the corner and then spin, and has the ball taken away from him, stolen away from him by Worcester. George Beeman again, he gives it to Palmer. Palmer thinking about the 3, decides to drive into the middle, kicks it back out to Eves. Eves for 3, and that's way over the top. Air ball and caught by Saw Nimley, who skips down the other end of the court. He thought about 3 as well, but decided against it. Eagles now setting up an offense. Jamal Williams, poor defense really. I thought that by Navas, give him 2, no hand.
Poor defense or no defense?
No defense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the right position. He had Williams closed down. He just had no action at all from his hands. He made no challenge on that shot whatsoever.
Jamal Williams, as a consequence, was able to put that down. Oh, wow. George Beam was completely off balance and out of sync then, but managed to get his shot up, and he's actually been fouled by Saar Nimley.
It looked like Saar Nimley pulled him from where we're sitting here, Jeff.
Yeah. I think that's going to be 3 shots for George Beeman at the line. First one's good. Makes these other 2, it'll be 69 all with 8:28 to go. Makes the second. Always nice to get an exciting game for the television and the viewers out there, and obviously any Worcester fans watching it, I'm sure are really enjoying this game. As Beeman misses the third, and we'll play patter cake to get that rebound. Eventually Goodhina comes up with it. Page once again throwing a silly pass, tried it for long pass, and easily picked off by Worcester. That's the one part of Jay-Sean's game where he really probably does need to improve. Sometimes his long passing decisions are very poor. There again, actually that rebound there, Worcester out-rebounded himself. And the scream there is for an unsportsmanlike foul.
Well,
referee MacDonald and Josh Bowe tell Dave Forrester to sit down.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think that was. I don't like that type of call, but really sloppy play from Worcester.
Had a real chance there, Worcester, of getting back. And as I say, they probably out-battled themselves for the rebound, and Eagles came away with it. And that foul on Saar Nimley as he went for the shot puts him on the line for 2.
I just don't think Worcester are as organised and as controlled when Marshall isn't running the point, and he certainly brought him in very quickly off the bench there.
Dominic Eaves going back to the bench. Saar Nimley knocked the first one down, knocks the second one down. Eagles with just that 3-point lead, which is, as we all know in basketball, is not really a lead at all. Here's Ojo, he's at the point at the moment. Marshall looking to get the ball from him, but Ojo decides not to give him to it now. He finds Beeman in the opposite corner. Beeman against Williams. Williams can't go in too hard because he's got 4 fouls. Nice pass from Beeman, found Navas underneath the basket. Nicely up for 2 points, and it's a 1-point game. It's 71-70.
Navas is getting too many offensive rebounds on the weak side.
Oh, that's a lovely pass from Saar Nimley. But a fantastic block by George Beeman. Sorry, by Trayvon Palmer. And at the other end, we have Jay-Sean Page coming up with a block against George Marshall. But George Marshall got the loose ball, and he's put the 2 points in.
Well, I just lost a little bit of vision there from our angle here, looking at the screen and obviously where we're sitting. But that seemed like a terrific effort from Jay-Sean Page, but somehow Marshall recovered it and just coolly slotted the ball home.
And at the other end, Kai Williams knocks down 2. Yeah, George Marshall went for the 3-point shot, and it was a superb block by Jay-Sean Page, but the ball went loose, and Marshall who was quickest to the loose ball, picked it up and knocked down the 2-point shot, and that cut the gap to 1. Actually put Worcester in front by a point, but at the other end, Kai Williams has come back with a 2-point bucket, and it's the Eagles that lead 73-72.
Well, this is a typical Worcester Eagles game, far too close to call at the minute. These two teams have a habit of making games exciting and tight finishes.
Nice ball movement there from Worcester. Navas driving along the baseline, has to come out. George Marshall with the ball. Last 5 seconds of the shot clock. And the travel called on George Beeman that time as he tried to go past the Eagles defense. Probably just took that extra step in the hurry because the clock was just ticking down.
The referee was very quick to spot it, and he was in no doubt at all that was a trouble.
Yeah. Nimley brings it forward. He finds Jukic. Jukic thought about giving the ball over the top to Jamal Williams. So Nimley actually finds Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams can't hand off to anybody at the moment. There's Zarko Jukic. He comes back out to Kai Williams for 3. That's hit the front of the rim, but comes back out. And Saar Nimley takes the long rebound. Setting it up again.
Well, he's setting up that high line, although this time Jamal's come out to set the middle pick and roll.
It's gone for the 3, and he's very fortunate bounce for falls into Kai Williams' hand. Zarko Djukic to Kai Williams to Jamal Williams. Zarko Djukic gets a hand up and the Eagles get another rebound and Jason Page gets the ball. Awful lot of noise in this crowd tonight, I must admit. Oh, nice crossover and under behind the back from Page, but he couldn't find Nimbley in the corner. Nice work by George Marshall to get a hand in and knock the ball away. Really fiercely contested at the moment, Dave.
It is. Very exciting game, and the atmosphere is tremendous. We've lost the whole hall, but it's just packed it in tight, and it just seems to create extra excitement and atmospheric pressure in the building.
Kai Williams to his brother. Jamal Williams had to take a very hurried 3-point shot because the clock was ticking down.
You know, he did everything right there. What a great fake, lovely step forward, totally balanced, just completely misjudged his direction and his power he needed to put into the shot.
Coach Paul James calls a timeout for Worcester, probably as much as anything to get his players a rest, because this, you know, two teams are short-handed, but this has been some pace this game and very, very frantic, as I keep saying.
You know, I'm fascinated by this high line, this 1-4 high line the Eagles are using, because it looks as though Nimbley's making an entry pass and then he's going to cut in and use the space that he's created around the basket, but he pops straight out, and very cleverly then the bigs are slipping to the basket for him to feed them. That's a good play for the Eagles right now. I think they maybe could just use that a little bit more.
And here's an interesting stat for you, Dave, which you'll not know about, and it'll probably sound like a really strange stat. Between them, Saw Nimbley and Jason Page have got 11 rebounds. So what you might say. But before the game, in the locker room, Fab Frenoy said he wanted at least 10 rebounds from his two guards, and Dave Forrester said, let's make it 13. So they've got 11 now, so they're looking for 2 more. Knowing them two, they'll get 2 more and walk off and say we did our job.
So what we're saying is rebounding is a 5-man job.
Well,
you know, it's
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Worcester are using a lot of the dribble to set it up, but all Eagles' 5 players are involved in the defence of that dribbling movement, just like they are now. Everybody's involved in defending that dribbling movement really well from the Eagles.
George Marshall with the ball, he faced up to Nimbley, he's a long way out, lobs it into Navas backing down against Jamal Williams. He's outside to Ojo going for the 3. Not Ojo's night at all tonight. That makes him, I think, that'll make him 2 for 13, I think, now.
Well, that goes to there's a good shot and there's an even better shot. He had a good shot, but the guy in the corner had an even better shot.
Eagles leading by a point at 73-72. Jason Page trying to drive to the basket. In the end goes for this turnaround jump shot. Kai Williams contests the rebound, but Alex Navas comes up with it.
I don't know what rebounds Navas has got, but right now he's just wanting that rebound so much more than anybody else does.
Worcester captain Alex Navas leading by example.
There we
Ojo
go.
in the corner. That's his shot, and this time he's made one. The one thing about Michael Ojo, you've already said it, Dave, he'll not stop shooting at all.
No.
Alex Navas actually got 9 rebounds, just to illustrate your point again.
Yeah, but
there.
Trayvon Palmer there had a decent shot, but Ojo had the better one. Not so long ago, their roles were reversed, and it didn't happen.
But at the other end, that 3-point had given Worcester a 2-point lead. At the other end, Kai Williams knocks down a 2. George Marshall almost getting it there, but from absolutely nowhere, Trayvon Palmer comes in. Yet another offensive rebound and a tip in. And Worcester lead by 2, 77-75. And this, well...
Worcester taking rebounds on the weak side is becoming a big issue in this game.
Yeah, I did notice when Palmer knocked that one in, Fab Frenoy sunk right back in his chair and shaking his head at all. There's Nimbley outside to Kai Williams for the 3. Kai Williams misses the shot, and there's Alex Navas' double-double with that 10th rebound. George Marshall at the other end pushing, probing, gives it to Navas, thought about the 3, possibly should have took it because Page has come up with a steal. Nimbley with the reverse layup has missed it. Wide open 3-on-1 play, and Nimbley misses the layup. Page now has to come back out. He comes all the way out to Djukic. Down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Nimbley for 3, makes the 3. And I'll tell you what, just as he went up to shoot that one, Paul James put his hands on his hips and shook his head as if to say, don't let him shoot that one. He did let him shoot that one, and he's knocked it down to put the Eagles back in front.
That's the third shot that's gone off in the last few minutes when Navas has been guarding a player and has had no action from his hands at all when he's closed the player down.
Certainly gets his hands up when it comes to rebound, but not this block shot. Ojo from the corner again. Can't let him get hot.
Weak side rebounding again.
Yeah. Zarko Djukic looked as if he had that rebound. Ojo imploring the referees for a foul there, but as he doesn't make the layup off the glass. Eagles with a 1-point lead, 2:26 to go. It's been hard for us to keep time on the clock because the time's just flashed past so quickly.
The game is flying, isn't it?
And there's a flop warning being given. Zarko Djukic is going to have to shoot a three, and he knocks down. Zarko Djukic knocks down the three, and that puts the Eagles up by 4 as we're just about to enter the last 2 minutes of the game.
Well, you know you're in good shape when you end up with your 5-man sticking a three like that.
There's Worcester back coming to the other end. Up it goes from George Beeman. That's off the side of the rim, and this time the Eagles have come up with the rebound. Saw Nimley takes that ball, tells everybody just to steady down a little bit. Gets the ball over halfway now, looks to set something up. Jamal Williams, nice pass into his brother. He knew exactly where his brother was going. His brother also knew where Jason Page was going. Jason Page thought he was fouled, but Zarko Djukic didn't wait for the whistle. He was in there, got the offensive rebound and knocks it down. And I tell you what, it's a very exciting Yuri Godina has leapt on the court to 5-5 all of his players as the Eagles take a 6-point lead at 83-77.
Well, it's a very exciting Eagles crowd because Jukic has just suddenly come to life. Hit the big three, sneaks in and takes an offensive rebound, bangs it back in. Before you know it, the Eagles are 6 points up.
Some big numbers from the Eagles here. Saw Nimley 21.7 rebounds, 8 assists. Zarko Djukic 18 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. And Jason Page 18 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. They're leading the way for the Eagles. Kai Williams got 8 points. Jamal Williams has got 8 points. For Worcester, we have George Beeman on 22, but he's only scored 2 points in this quarter. We have Alexander Novice on 18 points and 11 rebounds, and another double-double. Trayvon Palmer, 10 points and 10 rebounds. Of course, if you play a lot of minutes, you've always got a chance of a double-double. The one thing which Worcester haven't done, despite the fact they've had a 6-man rotation, Eagles have taken Baczynski completely out of the game. He's only played 16 minutes.
Yep.
So here we go, the noise cranks up. The Eagles come out, they've got a 6-point lead. They've got 1:33 to play. And it'll be, is it a Worcester ball at the halfway line, or is it Worcester going to the line to shoot 2?
Why would Worcester be shooting 2?
I actually think that Jason Page has been called for a technical foul. He has. That's what's happened there, is when Jason Page felt he was fouled as he tried to make the layup, when he came down after, even though Zarko Djukic made the 2, I thought he'd said something, but I wasn't sure if any action had been taken, but it has been. He was given a technical foul, so therefore Worcester made the free throw and now have possession. So suddenly it's a 5-point game and they have possession. Here's Beeman going for 3, splits his. Oh, there's another rebound from Palmer, but this time he doesn't make it. And Jason Page making up for the technical, does pick up the rebound, and he finds Zarko Djukic unmarked under the basket. Djukic slams it home for 2, and the Eagles back up to a 7-point lead. And at the other end, Marshall a little bit out of control. He finds Navas. Navas was going to drive in, fouled by Nimley.
Well, if Worcester lose this game, they'll look back on that phase of play there where they were out of control in offense and didn't bust their butts to get back down on that transition defense. That was just such an easy pass to Zukic and a wide open dunk.
Jason Page still talking to the referees. The referees have just come across and spoken to him and said just for him to settle down. He's now giving the thumbs up to the referee, which knowing Jails I do, that's probably a sarcastic thumbs up.
Well, Jason Page just needs to look at the scoreboard and see that they're 7 points up, now only 6, but with only a minute and a bit to go.
It's all about the next offense for me, for the Eagles and Worcester. I think Worcester need to come up with a steal and Eagles a miss. If it's Navas makes both from the line, if it's the other way around, a lot of pressure being put on here by Worcester. Nimley gets through all that pressure. He finds Djukic. Oh, this time Djukic has missed the slam, but he's fouled in the act of trying to make the slam, and he'll go up the line to shoot 2. Zarko Djukic up to 20. I think he's up to 20 points now. Yep, 20 points.
Well, he's made a significant contribution, Jeff, in these last few minutes. No question about it at all.
He seems to have slipped out of the Worcester side, and that's a couple of times now he's been wide open. As I said before, he's only a 47% free throw shooter. There you go, first one misses. I think, in fact, the way he's looking, he's 1 for 4, so he's even bringing that 47% down even further. Really needs to make this one for the Eagles. Doesn't. Navas takes the rebound. Worcester off the races very, very quickly. He gives it to Marshall. Marshall thinking about the 3. Inside and outside on Kai Williams. And drops in the 3. And that's a timeout straight away from the Eagles. And Worcester suddenly, we talked about Eagles being 6 points up with a minute to go. Suddenly it's only 2 points and we've only lost 11 seconds.
Shades here of the Cheshire game. What was it? 7 up with 1:09 to go.
Yeah.
Managed to lose it by 3. Eagles should not even be thinking of losing this game. They'd played much better in the last few minutes than Worcester have. You know, they've done a better job. 2 things about taking care of the boards, particularly from the weak sides. If you maintain your position defensively and you see man-see ball, you're going to be able to shut off anybody in those weak side rebounding positions, and that's exactly what they've done. Worcester haven't defended well at all in transition, so Jukic got that breakaway, also got the dunk. This shouldn't be a 2-point game, and the Eagles will be furious if they let this one slip.
Particularly when you look at the shooting percentages, because the shooting percentages, apart from one, is a lot superior to Worcester, but the one where they are struggling is they've only shot 5 of 11 from the free throw line, whereas Worcester are 17 for 20. And you know, there's a lot of coaches going back through the ages will say free throws can make a big difference, can win you games. And at the moment, if I was Worcester, I would be thinking about fouling Zarko Djukic, getting him to the line.
To the line, yeah. A bit like fouling DeAndre Jordan, isn't it?
Yeah. Or the other one was the old Shaq attack.
But you know, Worcester almost played into the Eagles' hands. They were doing too much 1-on-5. They weren't defending transition, but somehow they're back in this game with only 40 seconds to go.
The Eagles are going to run this clock down as far as they feel they can. Sondemly finds Jamal Williams, who was wide open. Zarko Djukic has managed to come up with that rebound.
Big play by Djukic. That was a loose ball. Looked like it was going to Worcester, and he's got it back to the Eagles. 2-possession game right now.
Jason Page inviting the foul, but goes up. There's Djukic again, gets the rebound, knocks it back, and there's another 14 seconds for the Eagles.
They've got to foul somebody.
And in the end, what you ended up there was, a 52-second offense.
Well, if the Eagles do hold on here, and they should, then Djukic, you'll think of that 3, you'll think of the breakaways in transition, and more importantly, critical stage, those 2 tremendous efforts. Not only did he fight to win the tip, he actually tapped it beautifully to a teammate.
Worcester now having to foul and put the Eagles on the line. We've actually had, since the timeout, no points have been scored, but 37 seconds have come off the clock.
Yeah.
You know, and it was all on the Eagles' offense. Worcester still with another foul to give, I believe, as well.
Well, so they need a steal.
There's the ball into Page, and Page is fouled by Ojo.
So that is definitely the 4th, if not the 5th.
That's the 5th, yeah.
So Page is on the line.
Now goes to the line. We've only got 11.4 left on the clock. Jason Page with two huge free throws for the Eagles.
Worcester do have the timeout, so presumably they'll use that timeout to be able to advance the ball down the floor. So there's a lot on Jason Page here. 2 points should do it.
Yeah, Paul James has already called for that timeout. Jason Page has missed the first one.
Well,
if he makes a second one, we'll have a timeout for Worcester and a 3-point gap. If he misses the second one, Worcester likely to get the rebound. It's gone very quiet all of a sudden. Page makes the second. That's a 3-point game with 11.4 seconds to go, and Worcester have a chance of setting up a 3-point shot. to tie the game and take us to overtime. And to be fair, the way this game's gone, that wouldn't surprise us at all.
No, so, somebody in the Eagles camp there will be saying, don't foul a three-point shooter.
That's exactly right. I mean, you look at it and you think, to be fair, you mentioned it before, apart from George Marshall, who's 3 from 5, George Beeman 3 for 6, they would probably be the two you would be looking at more likely. So Michael Ojo, as we know, is a 48% three-point shooter, but he's only 1 for 7 tonight. Trayvon Palmer, North from 3, and Alex Navis, North from 2. So you pay your money, you take your chances. My money would be on either probably Beeman or Marshall looking to get free, but it wouldn't surprise me if Coach James backed the 48% out in Michael Ojo.
Yeah, possibly, but I mean 11 seconds is enough time for him to make a little bit of ball movement to try to get somebody open off screens for the shot. What worries me from the Worcester point of view is all the last few offenses have been 1-on-5.
This is it's becoming very difficult to see because everybody's up on their feet, so the people stand in front of the camera, which means we can't really see there, and from our vantage position we can't see as well. I'm going to try and stand and see if I can see.
Well, one thing I can see from here is that the Eagles have got one foul to give, which could be crucial.
There's 11.4 seconds to go. What they could do, of course, Worcester's go for a quick 2 in the foul. Marshall to inbound. Beeman covered by Nimley. The ball is given to Beeman. Clock ticking down. Great defense from the Eagles. Have got the Worcester guys way away from the basket. The ball's bobbing around on the ground. There goes the 3. It's up. It's off the rim and it's bounced out of bounds. And the Eagles take the win, 85-83. And I think they did a great defensive stand there at the end, Dave.
Yeah, they really overplayed the passing lanes well. They made it very, very, very difficult for Worcester to move the ball. The moment the Worcester put the ball down for the dribble, the Eagles swarmed all over them and had enough good rotations to be able to put the guy under pressure who finally got the final shot away. Very, very close game. The Eagles ought to really have won it by a little bit more, but at the end of the day, after 3 road losses, they'll be absolutely delighted with this. Some thoughts for Paul James in terms of transition defense, and obviously, great win for the Eagles, and obviously fans are absolutely delighted.
Yeah, Worcester players looking very, very dejected there. I think they feel as if they probably could have taken that one, but Eagles players were very much jumping up and down, and we saw a lot of joy on the Eagles' faces, and the fans as they're trooping out. What a game that was. They're absolutely fantastic. And if you enjoyed that on livebasketball.tv, which you must have done, you've got more for you to come this week. Tomorrow night, in fact, we have a really big game down there in London as the London Lions, who are probably the red-hot team in the BBL at the moment, take on the Plymouth Raiders. And then on Friday night, we have 3 games for you. Bristol Flyers against Manchester Giants, Leeds Force against Glasgow Rocks, and Newcastle Eagles are back here at home, full court against Sheffield Sharks, and that'll be a really tough and big game as well, as both teams will be battling for the second half. But from myself, Jeff King, and Dave Ellikin, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Good night.